Hello and welcome to the Mindset and Mindfulness Podcast with me, your host, Sandy Powell.
So hello and welcome to this episode. Our guest today is Rachel Smith. She's a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner and owner of Natural Health Rising, an online medicine practice that serves clients worldwide. Rachel is also a speaker, a course creator, host of the Natural Health Rising podcast, and co-facilitator of a functional Lyme disease mentorship program for health professionals. She's on a mission to help as many people as possible rise to their healthiest and happiest selves. Welcome, Rachel.
Thank you so much for having me, Sandy.
Yes, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today. Really appreciate it.
Of course.
Could you tell us a bit more about what has been going on and how did you get where you are today?
Sure. Do you want to hear the health story? You want the business story? Which part?
The health story.
Okay. Well, I grew up a pretty sick kid, I would say, but pretty normal to the public and to the doctors because we kind of live in a sick world, right? So I would always have really bad stomach pains and migraines. And at a certain point, I got diagnosed with athlete's asthma and just all these things. And I was always in and out of the hospital. I had a lot of lung problems, got pneumonia many times throughout my life. So I was just kind of a mess as a kid. But again, it was just kind of, the doctors didn't really give me much to do about it. And once I was in my teens, I was a competitive weightlifter and I started to change my diet a little bit. And I realized that when I took dairy out, my stomach pains went away. My athlete's asthma, quote unquote, wasn't really there anymore. So I started to make a connection that our lifestyle and our diet can actually impact our symptoms. And unfortunately, my health actually got worse after that. So from my late teens to my early 20s, things just kept getting worse as I was in college and my hair was falling out and I was having panic attacks and insomnia. I would get numbness and weakness in my limbs, joint pain, just like really strange symptoms, missed my period for 3 years. So I started diving into a lot of podcasts, a lot of books, as I was still going to conventional medical doctors in and out of offices telling them, hey, there's something going on with me, but continued to get told, no, your blood work looks fine. You're too young for anything crazy to be going on with you, and would just send me on my way. But I, again, was gathering all this research about like holistic information, and I started to have a hunch that I had something wrong with my thyroid. Again, people were ignoring me. And then one night I woke up in the middle of the night, my heart was going like 170 beats per minute because one of my symptoms was heart palpitations that would randomly happen. I called 911. I thought I was having a heart attack. They rushed me to the hospital. They're like, yes, there's something weird going on with your heart. I got admitted. They did an exploratory heart surgery on me. And I remember even before that surgery telling them, are you sure you checked my thyroid markers? And they said, oh yeah, there's nothing wrong with them. Went through this exploratory surgery, woke up. They said, nothing wrong. Can't find anything wrong with your electrical issues and any electrical stuff in your heart. So for me, that was the last straw, like going through $100,000 surgery and getting told that there was nothing wrong with me again. So I found the best thyroid functional medicine specialist in Florida at the time, and he did the right labs, diagnosed me with Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune disease of the thyroid. So my hunch was right, and got into gut testing, and he taught me about all the gut issues I had and sensitivities and toxins. And I just kind of went on a journey from then on, super deep into holistic health. And from the moment I changed my diet and learned that I had an autoimmune disease, my symptoms improved by probably 50% or more within the next 3 to 6 months. And as I continue to do deep work with many things that we could probably talk about today, over time, I got rid of all my symptoms and I am very healthy now. I live an amazing life and I get to help people heal mystery symptoms and autoimmune issues just like I used to have.
Wow, that's quite the story. So how old were you when you kind of the term, I guess, or found the, well, or how
The
many years were you, I mean, you said it was from childhood on, but sounds like
Yeah, but I was quite sick from like, I would say 18, 19-ish to about 23 is when I got the Hashimoto's diagnosis. And then there were still, within those few years after that, there was a lot of work I was doing. So it was a journey. But yeah, it was about that 23 mark where everything started to change for the better.
Yeah, but that's a long time to be kind of, in limbo and kind of, like,
Yeah,
something is wrong and there's all these different issues coming up and, doctor kind of helping you, figuring out what it is. Everybody's like, oh, you're fine. And you're like,
right. Uh-huh.
so it would be so challenging, right? Like, I know from personal experience too. Like, yeah, sometimes you're just like there and you're like, no, there's something wrong. You just need to look better. I mean, you're the doctor, like, how am I supposed to, and then you
Right.
go in there and try to figure it out yourself. It's like so frustrating.
Yeah, everybody knows their body better than any doctor can tell you within 15 minutes of seeing you. Right? So
Right.
if you like know for sure something's off, blood work is almost never enough to really give you the root cause of why people are feeling unwell. So I would follow your gut if you're feeling like you keep getting turned down by doctors, but you feel like there's something wrong.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Really just don't give up and just kind of keep going and
Hmm.
I guess work on your own, like do some research on your own. I mean, nothing too crazy, not just Google and stuff, right? Like, because then sometimes you get into like really crazy territory.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you said, you had like the hunch with the thyroid and you looked at the, a thyroid specialist, which kind of, made the turn.
Hmm.
So I think if you can, narrow it down and try enough things, you can hopefully get a bit of a hunch yourself and direct the doctors then to, somewhere. I guess it takes everybody, I think, to be on the same page, right? Like to really don't give up and don't let them turn you down is what I'm trying to say, right? Like because
Hmm.
sometimes it really is an uphill battle and it takes quite some, and especially, like you said, the 15 minutes, the little appointments of like, oh, I have like million about you, you're just a number. It's just, people
Hmm.
oftentimes don't look at the whole picture. You don't even have enough time to present everything. And so
Right.
it's sometimes really hard to even,
Hmm.
make yourself heard and give them everything that they need to know to even look. Yeah. And then again, you said you were young. I was young too, right? Like when you're young, like you're supposed to be healthy. Like there's nothing wrong. It could be, like you're here, you're not bleeding, you have nothing broken. Like you should be cool.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, it's a bit, yeah, it's a bit frustrating. I've been there. So I'm like, this sounds way, way more crazy than what I've had to go through. But yeah, I just standing in front of the doctors and be like, oh my God, please look at me as a whole picture. Like, see me, like there's something, you gotta find it, there's a needle in a
Hmm.
haystack, something's wrong.
That's why functional medicine's so great.
Yes, so tell me more about that. If you have a little mystery to solve, how do you maybe go about that?
Sure, sure. Have you talked about functional medicine on your show before?
No.
Okay. So, yeah, we're actually looking for what is triggering the issues. If someone comes in with if someone comes in with gut issue, like they're having digestive issues, let's say it's acid reflux and their stomach hurts and all this stuff. If you go to a doctor, they're going to try to give you an over-the-counter PPI or a PPI or an antacid or something like that, which
Right.
is just trying to deal with the symptom on the surface level, and oftentimes it actually makes it worse. Whereas we're asking, well, wait a second, why do you have acid reflux in the first place? Or why are you having stomach pains? What are you eating? Are you passing stool every single day? Are you hydrated enough? Are you exercising? What does that exercise look like? All the basic things. But a lot of times, the people that I work with have kind of done a lot of that and they're like, yeah, I changed my diet, I eat clean, I sleep pretty good, and I've tried supplements, I've tried these things, but I still don't feel well. And that's where the functional lab testing can come in to see if there's something internally or an external toxin or something that's triggering the symptoms. And so this could be H. pylori in the stomach. This could be parasites. There could be heavy metals in the body from just an accumulation of our lifetime of what we're exposed to. This could be mold that's in your home or in your workspace. That's another big one that I see triggering a lot of crazy symptoms. And so there's just different levels that we look at versus just blood work, which again, blood work is really amazing to look at certain things like vitamin D levels and iron levels. Like we do want to see that information. We want to see where your thyroid's at. We want to see all of that. But doctors are typically looking at it for like the worst of the worst, the disease ranges. Okay, are you in a range where it's so bad that now I get to give you a prescription medication, get to give you a disease label versus, hey, let's try to keep you healthy and get your vitamin D in an optimal range or get your thyroid in an optimal range. And so even the ranges that we look at are very different than conventional medicine. A lot of times people, I would say 90% of people who come to me tell me, oh, my doctor said my thyroid looks great. When I look at it, it's not great because it's the difference in the optimal ranges versus the ranges that are compared with the population who, again, we live in a sick world. We're comparing these to a sick population.
So you're basically reading between the lines. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. I love that. So what is there like is there like a specific problem people would come to you more often? Is there like a trend that you see, like that it's mostly, coming down to, like you said, more to the healthy eating, like improving the diet? Is that like a lot of times the underlying issue, or is it also a lot of, like body things? Do you know what I mean? Like,
I feel like diet is such a small part of the picture. People definitely need to clean up their diets and learn about what to eliminate, what to keep in, what to eat more of, how to get better nutrients, all of that. But it's such a small piece of the puzzle. I think what even weighs bigger in the picture is a combination of sleep. When people aren't sleeping, I put sleep above everything else, above nutrition, above exercise, everything. If you're not getting proper sleep, your body's not healing, your body's not producing hormones properly, like you are just not going to be in a good state. Blood sugar dysregulation, hormone dysregulation, so many things from sleep will stem from that. So I'd say sleep. I would say stress or any undealt with trauma or emotions. I kind of put that all into one bucket. And then the third one would definitely be like internal stuff, right? Like pathogens and toxins and stuff that we haven't, like we just don't know about because we don't have you haven't ran the testing for it.
Wow, that's interesting. That was not where I thought you would go with this, but that's interesting. Love it. No, because everybody is telling us, right? Oh, you need to look at your, right? Like you need to exercise more and you need to, like eat more healthy and it can fix almost anything. And I'm guessing that is true to an extent, but if you have underlying issues, then
Sure.
you do need to have some kind of corrective action on top of everything else you're doing. So
Absolutely.
Wow. Very, very interesting. Just looking through my notes here, trying to see which way I should be. Sleep, exercise, diet, stress hormones. Yeah. So if when someone comes to you, if okay, let's take me as an example. Yes, I'm in a pretty good shape, I would say. But then again, everybody's doctors always say it's normal, OBGYN, everybody just had my health checks done and they're all like, tippy toppy. But there is some, for example, some tummy issues every now and then too, where I'm like, and I've tried different things. I do recognize I've changed from my milk, for example, to almond milk, which has made a big impact for me as well. Like I felt like that's much better. And there's like certain foods, like I already know, like it gives me a tummy boo-boo, like, I don't know, like eggs, for example, cheese, which is, I guess, the dairy part. But yeah, like where would you, if I would just come and be like, hey, I want to have just a bit, basically like a health check, right? Like, am I in, good shape for real? And then where would we maybe take it from there? Do you know, like where would we get started? Are we looking? I'm guessing we would be talking about, right? Like what you said. You said the sleep, the exercise, diet. Are there particular stressors in my life? I guess we would just have a conversation about all these things before you can really give me something. Yes.
Yeah, normally I spend a good 45 minutes plus just asking a lot of questions in all those buckets and like really understanding, when did your symptoms start? How often are they? What are they like? And again, like, do you pass stool every day? What do you eat on a daily basis? All of those different questions. And then that helps me figure out, okay, one, how much change could we most likely see with this person with lifestyle stuff alone and nutrition stuff alone? And two, what are some tests that we probably want to run? As if maybe you have already changed a lot of these things and you're still not seeing results. So we do want to look a little bit deeper. So for you, as someone who's already kind of playing with their diet and things and considers themselves pretty healthy, but has gut issues, and we don't need to go into all of that on the episode. I'm sure, I don't know if you want to, but there would definitely be nutrition changes, because you shouldn't be reacting to eggs. You shouldn't have a bunch of food sensitivities. When people have a lot of food sensitivities, we know that they have leaky gut. And so one, we need to do testing for that. And two, we need to take the foods out of the diet for a certain period of time, heal the gut, and then introduce those foods one at a time, testing them against the body. And I have people heal egg food sensitivity all of the time. It's like the number one food that people bring back in. They're like, oh my God, I haven't had eggs in years. I'm so excited, because it's such an easy breakfast food. And it has a lot of protein and choline for the brain, and it's so healthy for you as long as you're eating good quality eggs. So that would be part of it, but we have to do that testing, right? And so I would run most likely a GI map test, which is a stool sample. It's going to look at different bacteria and parasites and digestive function. We're going to look at an organic acids test, which can look at fungal overgrowth and metabolism, nutrients. And then I always run an HTMA on my clients, which is a hair sample. And that looks at 3 months worth of data of heavy metals and minerals. Because if we don't have minerals in the proper ratios and in the proper amounts, our body's not really going to run. It's kind of like gasoline for a car or an oil for a car. It's like you don't have the right stuff in your engine and in your fuel tank, your car's not going to run properly, or maybe run at all, right? So those are the different buckets that we would look at.
I love that. I actually do love that. I feel like I will have to contact you a bit more. No, I just wanted to come up with some kind of example. I didn't just want to, I didn't know how to make up something.
So it kind of depends on who you see, right? If you go to a local functional medicine doctor, for example, and you go to them and you have these issues, they'll probably make some recommendations, give you some handouts. Yeah, try this paleo diet, try this diet, see what happens, exercise more, take these supplements, let's run some blood work, let's run like a lab or two. And it's usually in like piece by piece, like slow movement over time. Yeah. The way I work is it's usually a 6-month time frame, and I'm trained to do a lot of things. So I'm working on nervous system regulation with my clients and stress management one-on-one. If we need to talk about exercise, we can. I also have a background in, again, like martial arts and competitive lifting and different things. If we need to dial in the nutrition piece, obviously that's always a factor. So we're kind of doing so many things holistically within that 6-month time frame. And that's with everybody. It's all going to be unique to each person, but all of those buckets are going to be talked about. And so that's really the approach that I believe is necessary if somebody has been dealing with stuff for quite a long time, or has a diagnosed illness like an autoimmune disease, a ton of mystery symptoms, anything like that, because it's usually not one small thing to change to make a big difference. If it took you maybe 5 to 10 years to develop these issues, or you've been dealing with them for 10 plus years, it's not going to be as simple as a couple of visits, right? And I think from I created it this way from my personal experiences. When I did see that functional provider when I was 23, he didn't fix everything. He gave me some starter information, but then I had to see like 5 or 6 different people over the course of many years. And so I did not like that. I was like, well, where is the one-stop shop or most of the one-stop shop where I could have gone and like really had all of this information in one place instead of me still trying to bounce around and like put together the puzzle pieces.
Yes, which is now you. You became the one-stop shop.
Yes. As much as I can. Obviously, I can't do everything, but
there are limitations, of course, to everything.
Yeah.
But it sounds like you're well-rounded to deal with a whole bunch of, like you said, different buckets. So that's really cool. I like that. And I like that you can, look at it again, like you said, holistically, because yes, in the past there was always like a little, oh, I'll try this and oh, I'll try this. And, like, so you're like bouncing all over the place. Yeah. Like, well, do a little more sleep and take out the eggs if they bother you and blah, and it's just like, I feel like it's always half of the answer, like you said, the Tum-Tums, the over the counter, just the Band-Aid, here you go, do this. Like, yeah, but like, what is it called? Wait, like, how did it get to be this? And we're never going to eat this again and blah, blah, blah. Like, can we look a little deeper? And they're like, yeah, it's okay, whatever, right? They don't even want to really have the conversation. Yeah, so it's a bit frustrating. So I really appreciate you kind of diving a little deeper and just kind of giving a little more background and as to, you might just need to change the provider and get to the right person and then they can really help you along.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there, like, there's so much health advice out there, right? Like, like so much out there, like what to focus on. Like, what would be your advice for someone to do when they're just like starting out? Maybe they just want to, with just with the new year still around the corner, like they want to, improve their health this year, make their health a priority. Is there something that you would like, to like, what is an advice maybe give someone, or maybe what advice to ignore, that is out there? Because that's what I'm saying. There's so much floating out there. What maybe to stay away from?
There's so many things that I would want to say about that. I'll maybe try and give you like 2 things that first popped into my mind. One, I would say stay away from extreme diets. Like the fruitarians, come on now, eating fruit and that's it. That's like really wild. Your body needs protein to function. So, the straight fruit, the straight carnivore, the straight vegan, it's very extreme. And in each one of those buckets does take important either nutrients away or amino acids, vitamins, minerals, maybe fibers getting taken out of the diet. So your body does need all of those things for optimal function. And if you are having extreme amount of food sensitivities to where it does feel good on your gut when you do all carnivore, that's a signal to your body that there's something wrong, right? Like I was talking about before, there's something in your gut, there's something in your body that's triggering you to have such a massive issue with food. So not doing extreme diets, but then also finding support and finding balance in what feels good for you, but possibly running a gut test or something to look deeper into that part. And then I would say something to incorporate that's like easy would be walking a lot more. So like get up in the morning and get your body outside and get sunshine to the eyes and to the skin and go on a short walk. It's a great way to improve your energy for the whole day, your hormones, your mood, your sleep for the end of the day when we get that sunlight right away. And so if we can do a walk, we're killing a bunch of birds with one stone. And going on just like short bursts of walk or movement throughout the day. So many people deal with blood sugar dysregulation, which causes inflammation and then causes many diseases, PCOS, diabetes, autoimmune issues. So after your meals, do 10 air squats. There's studies on this that show that this improves blood sugar regulation after meals, or go on a short walk. So it's just like, and it doesn't have to be crazy. You don't have to do 30 minutes, but if we can break it up throughout the day and get, a morning after some meals in, you will improve your blood sugar dysregulation or improve your blood sugar, reduce inflammation, improve weight, improve mood, improve hormones. So many things, improve detoxification because you're going to be moving your lymph more. So it's like the easiest thing that I really think people could do.
Yes. Yes. So balance and walking. Yes.
Yes.
That is really, yeah, like when it comes to exercise, one of the things that is, like really like a good starter point. It doesn't need, you don't need to have a gym membership. You don't know what to do, whatever, but walking, you can always walk and you can do it as much, as slow, as long as whatever.
Right.
Yes, I love that. And do you recommend of like tracking it to like 10,000 steps or just kind of go with what feels good or something,
I mean, totally. You could start with some sort of goal like that for the day, right? And see how your body feels with it. And then you can always increase or decrease depending upon your, where you're at, because it is going to be a little bit different for everybody. If you're like just starting off getting up from the couch and you never walk, you might want to start a little bit slower. Your body's probably going to be sore from just walking. But if you're somebody who's already active, then yeah, that 10,000 steps is a simple goal that people can put in.
Right. That's just what what is out there, do 10,000 steps, blah, blah, blah. That's why I was like, okay, so is it the 10,000 steps or is it? But yes, I guess it's with everything, it's with balance and with however it works for you. Yes.
Totally.
Okay. I have one more question. In the last 5 years, what maybe, obviously you had a whole slew of things, but maybe just the last couple of years, what maybe is a new belief or behavior or maybe a habit that you've tried that has most improved your life?
A habit that has most improved my life in the last 5 years. Wow. Outside of walking more.
Or it could even be, if it's a longer, like if you started it before the 5 years, but I was just.
No, I know what it is. It's kind of around the topic of like stress and emotions. I think growing up for me, I wasn't taught a healthy way to express emotions. And I think a lot of people aren't taught that growing up, right? You get told like, hush, hush, be quiet. Like, don't do that. Don't throw a temper tantrum, don't yell, et cetera, et cetera. So what happens is we wind up suppressing them and we grow up to learn that pattern. And that suppression actually causes inflammation in the body and it causes health issues. And if we have certain emotions that we're not good at expressing, it affects different organs in the body. Like if we have a lot of grief, we don't know how to express it, it's going to affect our lungs. If we have a lot of anger and we don't know how to move it, it's going to affect our liver. So, and then just that kind of in totality will create a lot of stress on the system, which will increase cortisol and inflammation and a lot of dysregulation. So around that, it would be something along the lines of like, how do you actually learn to feel and express and move through emotions in a healthy way? And like doing practices that regulate the nervous system on a consistent basis. Those are the two things.
So how would you get started on how to get in touch more with your emotions?
That's a really good question. Well, one, I think if somebody's listening and they don't have a therapist, that can be super helpful just to like have in your back pocket, like an internal family systems therapist specifically. And then if you've had a lot of trauma, an EMDR therapist who also specializes in internal family systems. That's what's personally helped me the most. But anybody can really tune in and like, okay, I'm noticing something coming up and how does that want to move through me right now? If I am having fear come up, can I actually like feel the fear and move my body somatically in a certain way? Can I shake my body out with that? And then if there's still like a lot of thought processing, can I journal out all my fears and really just like get this out of my body? If it's anger, don't shove the anger down. Can you feel the anger? How does the anger want to be moved and expressed? Do you need to go to a separate bedroom and yell into a pillow? And actually like feel and let that energy out of your body, because emotions are energy in motion, and we don't have the motion when we're keeping them stuck, right? So we just need to have a motion to them. And so it can be like these simple things. I mean, I know a lot of people will go exercise, or will go any kind of like physical movement can really support our bodies in that way. But we don't want to cover them up. We still want to like feel them and then have that process of moving through them.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I usually walk. If I get
There
the
you go.
chance, I walk it out. Like if I, like I feel like a lot of chaos going on. I'm not even sure what's going on. I just gotta go for a walk, and I'm kind of like, okay, what's happening? And like feel inside and just kind of, okay, what is causing me whatever stress, or like why am I worried? Why am I anxious? What's going on? And yes, I do like to journal about it too, like writing it out. I used to just have it in my head, and just kind of, for lack of better word, have like be my own best friend and just kind of talk it through in my head. But I felt like, it seemed to take a bit longer, and it was still kind of in, going around in circles. So when I write it out, I feel like it just kind of gets processed through better.
There is a shift in the brain, the part of the brain that you're using when you either verbalize or write. And so that's
Right.
why it is really helpful. And then even like, this is another reason why EFT or tapping works so well, is because, are you familiar with tapping?
Yes.
Yeah. So I do this with all my clients too. And I think it's one of the most simple yet powerful tools that anybody can use for any sort of feeling. It could be pain, it could be sadness, it could be anger, frustration, worry, any of these, and tapping can help with that. It can take it from a level 10 to a 5 or to a 1 on a scale of like intensity. And it's that combination of the verbalization, but also tapping on those points that are very similar to like acupressure, acupuncture points, right? So we're creating we're helping regulate the nervous system and balance things in the body with it.
And that's also what you mean, kind of with the motion. We're doing some kind of motion, pushing it towards, instead of keeping it down, we're releasing it by putting on those points. Yes.
Yeah, because so they're like we're working on energy centers, and like acupuncture points. And so if somebody is familiar with acupuncture, when you put the needles in the different points on the body, that's working again on the nervous system, and yes, helping increase the flow of energy, but also helping to down regulate yourself. And so you can tap on those points as well.
Would that be a somatic exercise?
Yeah.
Would that be considered? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I've just been hearing the term a lot, the somatic exercise, but
Soma is the body. So it's somatic is like using the body. I'm also a somatic breathwork practitioner. So that's another tool that we use, another tool in the toolbox. But usually somatics is, a lot of times it's also using breath and sound. So breath, sound, and movement, which is where like yelling into the pillow helps. Or when we're doing the tapping, we're also talking and we're moving, and so it's like that combination is very, very effective for supporting emotional regulation and the nervous system regulation.
Yeah, I love that. That's so cool. Nice. Yes, I think emotional regulation is definitely, yes, on my list too. I have been working a lot on that as well. Yes. For me, it's the mindfulness and yes, giving myself just some grace. I feel like we're so much better with giving others grace and permission to be. And on ourselves, we're usually a bit harder. At least that was something that I needed to learn, to be more, have more grace with myself. Cultivate the self-compassion. That's what I've been working on over a long period of time, like the last couple of years.
Oh, 100%. I mean, we all need to have more compassion for ourselves. Like, we are all human, and we will all experience a symptom of something at some point, or you have emotions. Like, it's not bad to have anger come up. It's just, how do I work with it? So giving yourself more grace and compassion for whether it's a health issue, whether it's something going on in a relationship, like whatever it's going on, we all have these challenges that we go through in our lives. And it's just learning to kind of accept and move through them in whatever way that looks like for you.
Yes. Yeah. But especially the emotions, just like you said, we weren't raised. I wasn't raised like that either. I was always like, oh, yeah, you need to be the smiley child and the happy, calm in the corner thing whenever there was, just like a little bit of, crying or, oh, no, don't be a crybaby. And no, big girls don't cry. And or like you could just see like immediately was like, no, I don't know how to deal. Please keep it together.
Yeah.
And that's like really, of course that set us up for, emotional dysregulation and gave us a bit of a challenge to work through now these years. But yes, that's why I try to really make a change with my daughter as well. Like really help her through that and really try to articulate it. And it's okay to be whatever, right? Angry and frustrated. And I know you're sad that we're not going to the playground right now and things like that. Like really, it's okay. Like you don't have to be, and I have the conversation with my husband too, to be like, okay, don't have to, bundle up and have the nice child and stuff. He's a little,
Totally. And it's like they need to know what to do instead, right?
Yeah.
It's like we can, if we tell someone no, don't do something, it's like, well, then what am I supposed to do instead? So it's like, how can I give you a tool that's like safer or just better than like punching you? Okay, well, can you punch the pillow instead, right? And teaching them that swap so that they're not keeping it all in.
Yes. Oh yes. No, she's doing a lot of breathing.
That's
like,
good.
I can do this, or like, okay.
Aww.
I'm like, because she's sometimes, right? She's still working. She's only 4. So she's working on, like when she's not winning at racing, that she's not too upset about it, right? She wants to have a race and she wants to play tag and all these things. But if she's not the winner, like she gets sometimes very frustrated. And then she's like, okay, take a deep breath and remember to have fun. So that's something,
That's
like,
awesome.
yes, because, the game is the fun. You want to play with your friends and everybody wants to have a turn and things like that. So that has been really helpful. Yes. And she's very compassionate and she talks a lot to herself now too, which I think is super cute. Like she's like trying to do the monkey bars and she's like, ooh, like I didn't do it, but come on, Sophie, you can do it. Get back up there. You're strong. Let's try it again and stuff. And I feel like it's like so cute, that it kind of came internalized, I guess like me talking with her, like, how can we, move through it? And, are you strong and you can try it again and things like that? Or like she just trying it on her own, of course, too. Like I try to also let her, do her own thing and work through it on her own. But like you said, giving her a bit of the skills and asking the right questions of like, how can we reframe this, Because of course, sometimes she's like, oh, I'm so frustrated and oh, I'm not good at anything and I can't do it and I will never have this again. And I'm like, oh, but is this true?
Right.
So it's really fun. It's a really good reminder, to just kind of be playful also as an adult. I feel like, to just kind of, it's like a mirror. Like I sometimes see it in myself, I'm like, oh, I really need to tackle that. What I'm dealing with in that same kind of sense of wonder, like why, so to not lose that and to really stay in balance and have fun with it because, at the end of the day, that's what we're here for. Like really have hopefully an enjoyable life. At least that's part of my philosophy. I don't, ponder away and do all these things. I want to have fun while I'm at it.
Absolutely. So important.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate all the nitbits and little golden nuggets you've provided us with today.
Of course.
Is there anything else you want to share?
Let's see. What do I want to share? I would go off of what you literally just said, which is reflecting on what, adding more play and joy to your life and reflecting on what really does bring you joy, what really aligns with your values, and writing down the things that you're currently doing in your life, but then writing also down the things that bring you joy and what are your values, and reflecting, like, have you been aligned with those things in your life, or are you constantly doing things that drain you? And if you are doing things that drain you, start switching up your calendar, right? Start switching up your life, saying no to the things that are really not a full yes for you, and saying yes to the ones that are a full yes. So that is a huge thing. I think with the health stuff too, a lot of people can get caught up in the healing phase and forget that they also have to be a human and have fun. And that is literally something I have to remind my clients to do sometimes. So I think it's so important. It's gonna help your health more than a supplement will most of the time.
Yes, remember to have fun. Definitely on the top
Yeah.
of this as well. I know sometimes we do get caught up in all, all the rumble and bumble of life and trying to focus also so far in the future and stuff, or cleaning up the past. But yes, enjoyment in here and now is definitely important. Yes, enjoy. It's a fun ride. It's supposed to be a fun ride. Yes, there's challenges and there's things we're facing, but yes, like you said, focus on the good things. Focus on the things that fill up your cup. The more fulfilled you are, the more happy you are, the better you can show up for the rest of the people in your life. So yes. Thank you. Well, how can people connect with you? What would be the best way?
Yeah. So my business name is Natural Health Rising, and that is my name everywhere. So Instagram is where I'm most active. If you want to send me an actual message, I can reply to you easily on there. Otherwise, you can get, all the content I put out on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. If anybody wants some freebies, I believe I gave you 2. So I have the Energy Reboot Guide, which is a short PDF that has some nutrition plans in there and some other holistic guidance to help you reduce inflammation and increase energy and mental clarity. And then if anybody does have an autoimmune issue going on, or like mystery chronic symptoms, we have the full autoimmune webinar, which is really amazing and jam-packed. It's a full hour, so it's a little bit of information, but if you get through it, it could really change your life with all the stuff that's in there. So I highly, highly recommend getting that.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'll definitely link that in the notes for everyone who's interested.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me on the show, Sandy.
Oh, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate your time.